Good evening, citizens. Welcome to the podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Michigan Comics Collective. They are a group of Michigan comics people that are networking and trying to get people involved in making very professional comics and getting them in stores. So if you're in Michigan and you want to get involved with them, check them out at michigancomicscollective.org. Or if you're not in Michigan, you can check them out and just see what work they're up to. They're a really good group of guys, and they put out real quality comics. So check them out. This show is also brought to you by Baringa Olafera. It's my business. It's a health and nutrition mix and drink, and they have all kinds of products that'll make you super healthy. And so you can learn about them at or just Google Baringa Olafera or look them up or look me up, and I'll tell you all about it. Without further ado, let's cue the music and welcome Justin Stewart to the podcast. Welcome, Justin.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell us about yourself. Tell us about Justin 3000.
Justin 3000. I am an illustrator, cartoonist, sort of jack of all trades when it comes to comic making, but I do spend a lot of time as a comic book colorist for artist Jim Mahfood.
Yeah.
We currently have Miami Vice Remix on the shelf. And
tell us about that. Tell us, what is Miami Vice Remix? Is it a comic or?
Yeah, it's a comic from Lion Forge / IDW. The first issue came out last week of March, so
okay.
Second issue will be out probably the last week of April. But yeah, it's just a complete sort of reimagining of the Crockett and Tubbs universe.
Nice.
Of Miami.
Bounce, chow. Yeah.
Completely, man, completely. And like, there's no real year nailed down in the series, so you're kind of left questioning the entire time, like, what era it's actually in.
Are there payphones?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh, there could be payphones, folks.
There could or could not be payphones. There also could or could not be computers. So we'll see.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I love. I didn't even know you were involved with Jim Mahfood, but I love his art style, and was talking to Jim Lujan about it, and he mentioned that you're the colorist, and I was just blown away. That's awesome. How did you get hooked up with that gig?
Well, it is through our guardian angel, Jim Lujan.
Wow.
He knew Jim, and this was, well, I have to say that I met Jim Lujan on the Fanboy Radio message boards way back, 2002-ish or so. And so we got to be good friends, and then just out of the blue one day, he was like, "Hey, do you know Jim Mahfood's work? Do you like his stuff?" And I was already a huge fan of it.
Yeah, like
was
Tank
well,
Girl
yes. And all the Generation X special and stuff, and Girl Scouts and all that crazy stuff. And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, I know his work. I love it. I'm a huge fan." And he goes, "Well, he needs somebody to color his stuff." And Lujan knew that I was dabbling in computer color, and so he just put me in touch with him, and that was 2005 or 2004, and we've done stuff together ever since.
Wow. And you have you ever met him in person?
Oh yeah, I usually see him. I usually see him once or twice a year in person.
Okay.
There's a big show in Lexington, Kentucky, where I am. Mm-hmm. There's a big show that I'm involved in called the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention, and the past 2 years we've been able to bring Jim out to Kentucky, Jim Mahfood out to Kentucky, and be a guest at the show.
Right.
So I've got to hang out with him the past 2 years, and then I would see him at Chicago, C2E2 or something once a year. I'd always find a way to hook up with them at some point during a year.
Yeah, I've watched his videos where he does those giant like I don't know if it's murals with like
Hmm.
spray paint or something.
Yeah,
Is that
like
what
the
I'm
live
seeing?
art shows and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. His style is so cool. I would love to draw like that. And you said you checked out mine stuff, and I feel like mine is like so like tight, not in a good way tight. Like
you've
you
got
know,
a controlled line. You've got a controlled
yeah,
line.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's just wild,
Hmm.
and yeah, I would love to do that, but I start off like that, and then I just settle back down into my old boring ways. But
You have to force yourself to do it.
just
To do it for more than 20 or 30 minutes a day.
yeah,
Just be crazy, or
yeah,
draw with your left hand. Or if you're right-handed, draw.
yeah. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. So has coloring his work, has that influenced you at all in your work that you do on
Absolutely.
your own?
Oh yeah,
How
absolutely. I
so?
mean, it's it goes back to what you were talking about, the the looseness, the freeness that's in
Hmm.
there. Um, every single one of his drawings, there's a definitive energy to it, right?
Yeah.
It's you can almost feel it coming off of the paper, and
Yes, the energy I think yeah, it draws you right in. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, and that's something that I've tried to put into my own stuff as much as possible, because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a crazy cool drawing. It's if people wanted like photorealistic stuff, then just take a photo of something. So
Right, right.
and because it's art, everybody's different, so everybody puts their own sauce, on the page, and you try to add dashes of pepper or seasoning of other artists, um, and his stuff really did sort of make me take a step back and go, okay, I want to have more fun with what I draw, and that's exactly what Jim does. It's like you can tell he has fun doing what he does.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you could draw. I'm looking at your illustrations. You can draw a face that
Hmm.
you know looks like a face, or you can draw a face that has some energy and looks like somebody had a whole lot of fun making it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so I can see that in some of the illustrations that I'm looking at online. I'm looking at this. One of the ones I really like is this like lizard type chick holding the guy's head.
Oh, the severed head of the yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the gore.
Hmm.
There's she's licking her chops. Like she just ate his neck off. And
Sure, sure.
yeah,
That was for a magazine. I did a couple of pieces it was like a horror anthology that they put out quarterly, and one of the articles was about the movie Species.
oh yeah,
So
okay, yeah. It
yeah,
looks like it could be like that.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. So is this,
Thanks, man.
how long have you been doing these illustrations and art?
It's all my life, off and on.
Hmm.
It's I had always been into comic books and into nerdy stuff,
Hmm.
Star Wars, action figures, this, that, and the other, and just always being into that stuff. I always looked for the new things in whatever that genre was. So I'd look for the what's new in comics and stuff. Even at 12, 13 years old, and then I got through high school and then got into college, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just I took graphic design,
Hmm.
so I ended up working at a newspaper and then sort of freelancing for a little bit, and so I've come from a graphic design background, and it's hard to do that art with all that energy when it comes to graphic design. It's like it's all very modular, and all the boxes and straight lines and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a regular day job, like a IT job,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, that has nothing to do with art. And sometimes I'm grateful because so all day I sit there and daydream about what I want to draw and what I want to, put all my energy into. I'm afraid that if I have a design drawing type job, I don't, that I would want to be away from it when I got out of work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I've known people that got up and went to art related jobs and just busted their asses all day, and then when they came home, like the last thing they wanted to do was pick up another pen, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it gets in the way of wanting to do your own stuff.
Yeah, and I don't have a whole lot of stamina doing my own stuff, even if it's like what I'm having a lot of fun at. A few hours, and I'm toast. Yeah, I don't know about you, but
yeah, I'm the same way. I have a day job as well. It's a part-time day job, but it is in graphic design, so I do get to do that. But yeah, I mean, the first part of the day I'm there, and then I come home, and then I've got the rest of the afternoon to work on stuff, and then the wife and kid will come home around 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and then I'm with them until about 9:30 or 10.
Gotcha.
And then I come back downstairs and go back to work and work until midnight or so, and then back up to bed. So I'm very much in that 2 hours on, 4 hours off.
Yeah. That's nice though. That's a good schedule.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I would like that.
Well, but also too, it comes with the all of my friends asking, "Man, have you seen this thing?" And I say, No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure it's great, but I haven't seen a single episode of whatever it is you're into.
I have the same issue. So my schedule is 5 a.m. I'm at my drawing table till about 7, and then it's time to go to my day job. So then at night, I do all my running around with the family, and about 9 o'clock, my wife says, as we sit down to watch the latest episode of Mad Men or something, she watches it and I fall asleep.
Right. Right.
I think Game of Thrones, she's seen a whole season that I haven't. I mean, I sat there for it, but,
You just have to ask her, what happened? Just tell me what happened.
Yeah. So, So, yeah, it's it's all for it's worth it though, right?
Sure, absolutely, and my wife's a school teacher, so her day starts really early too, and
you guys cross paths.
We do. So by the time our daughter goes to bed, she's right behind her. So I asked her yesterday. I was like, "Hey, you wanna watch Daredevil?" And she just goes, "When?" And our daughter's almost 4, and she's like,
"Right.
When are we gonna watch that? When are we gonna have time to watch any of it?"
That's awesome.
So when the TV is on, it's something for the kid,
Yeah, this is a big time digression, but my sister told me she had a friend one time that she'd been trying to get a hold of her friend, and her friend had several little kids, and so she got a hold of her, and she was like, "Hey, now's not a good time," and my sister asked her, "Well, is there a better time to reach you?" No.
But it's the truth.
Yeah, it's just Anyway, so yeah, we could go on forever about that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Having to.
What projects are you working on right now besides coloring in the lines in the Jim Mahfood lines? What else?
Well, I am occasionally allowed to color out of his lines if the story should need it.
It seems like he might be disappointed with your work if you stayed in the lines.
Right.
It'd be impossible to stay in the lines on his.
Yeah, completely. And the best thing about working with him is that in the first conversations we had, he told me, "Just make it look cool, and we'll worry about everything else later." I went, perfect, and that's the philosophy that I've done everything with.
Wow.
So it's cool. But no, other than working with him, I've got. I'm active in the local Lexington art scene, so I have a group that me and some of my art friends, we do live art in various places. Another idea I stole from Jim My Food.
Yeah,
but we do little live art things in and around the city and at different comic book conventions that are regional to this spot, and then we try to do like little gallery show things downtown and just try to get together and draw with each other every now and again. So other than that, that's pretty much it.
What happens at a live art show?
What we do is we go in with some big pieces of wood. It's plywood, so they're about 6 feet tall by 2.5 feet wide, and we set those up on a drop cloth, and then I bring a bunch of blank materials, paper, poster board, whatever I can find.
Right.
And then I bring a bunch of acrylic paint markers and pencils and colored pencils and stuff. And we just put, blank paper on each board and just draw and paint, live right there wherever we are, whether it's a bar or a movie theater or a comic book store. So
yeah. Oh, that sounds fun.
It's great. It's great. And again, I mean, the energy is so cool because you're standing up. You're not sitting down, so you're not hunched over.
Right.
So you're standing up and you're drawing with other artists that are, right next to you. So everybody can see what everybody's doing and vibe off of whatever's going on.
Huh. I'd say the closest thing I've done to that is get together with a group of artists and have a live model and draw the portrait, And I just thought that was fantastic. But you know what? They would stay for 2 hours. And I could only stay for 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, I was toast again. My stamina.
I don't have. That's the one thing that I wish I could do more of was life drawing like that, like going and sitting and actually getting to study the model from multiple angles and stuff.
And I just found it, being with other artists was really fun. So.
Yeah, and it really does matter too, because a lot of times, and I know especially with animator guys, you're alone a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we create in this bubble. So anytime that we can do it with other people and share experiences, and you're like, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that my friend Tress and I started the podcast, because it's all artists can relate to something. Whether it be an animation or prose writing or comic making or jewelry making, whatever.
Yeah, we have. I have the Beige Planet podcast, and it's about artists and their just regular people and their artistic endeavors. And we had a bunch of that's where we met Jim Lujan and a bunch of different animators and artists. And my partner Al says we need more like musicians on. And it was hard to find any musicians that wanted to take the time out to talk because, they're out with people all the time. But artists are like hunched over their table in their basement, nobody to talk to. It's like a dungeon down here, And somebody asks you to be on their podcast, you're like, yeah, let's do it. I got lots to say, man.
I can talk to a real live human?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got tell us about your podcast. Well, first of all, you can find Justin's artwork at justin3000.com. Any relation to Andre 3000?
That is almost exactly what it's from. My sort of like the first thing that I ever really latched onto in my adolescence, as far as television goes, was Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, all right, cool, that's awesome, and I got super into it, and then the first real, like my own solo real email address I had was Justin2000 at AOL.com, right? And then it got to the point where I went, you know what, 2000 is going to be dated really, really soon.
It's coming right up.
Yeah, this was 98, 97, 98. And that is when I had gotten introduced to Outkast as well. Uh-huh. So, I flip open the CD and I take the pages out, and the dude's name is Andre 3000. I'm like, that is what's up. Just 3,000.
That's the future, man.
Yeah, it's like there's no way I'll live to see that.
Cool. So Justin3000.com, you can see his illustrations and book covers and logos. I particularly like your D-Hop comic book writer logo.
No, thank you. Yeah, that is my friend David Hopkins.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, it's original. Your webcomics. So are these collaborations or?
No, I used to write and draw a webcomic.
Okay.
In the early to mid 2000s, called Pop Culture, and it ran once a week or twice a week, and then it got to the point where I was too busy. I couldn't do it anymore. So that's just a couple of the ones that I thought were really good, or some of my favorites, or that I had the most fun working on. So,
I think these are great.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah. I'm looking at the one Hard Boiled Action.
Oh, right.
And yeah, I mean, I like that. That's right up my alley. With the hard boiled detective, I guess, type looking guy, and the noir look, is cool.
Yep, looking through the slats of the blinds.
Yeah, and the shadows. Denton Crumb, inconsequential PI.
Right. The whole thing was that he would solve mysteries that were blatantly obvious.
Oh, it was brilliant. Well, I wish you'd bring that back. Anyway, check them out at Justin3000.com. So tell us about your podcast.
Right. The podcast is called Sequential Spirits, and it's with myself and artist homie of mine named Tressa Bowling, and she and I get together with other artistically minded people. We've had other comic book creators and illustrators, and we've had a few writers. We've had a filmmaker. So we're able to talk to them about doing, why they do what they do in that industry.
Right.
Because it's all entertainment-ish, So we talk about why we wanted to do that, and with fellow artists, we talk about conventions and the pros and the cons of the cons. Because we're all sort of all the people we know anyway that are local. We're kind of in the same spot. We're in the middle, right?
Yeah.
We're not super high profile, but people have paid us to do a crappy drawing or two, so we're considered professionals, I guess. So we just talk about having to make time for what we do, and also real life and family and all that stuff. Right.
Good. I'm gonna definitely subscribe to that. Okay, so now that you're in my pod cave, I've got a little segment on the show called Stranded on a Deserted Island. Ooh. And this is where, Justin, you're stranded on a deserted island, and you got 6 items. Okay, I'm going to tell you what they are. You get to take one. Okay, the first one is dessert, because it's a deserted island. So you can take one dessert. What is it?
Oh. Pecan pie.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Okay. You can take one tube of paint. What color?
Pure magenta.
Well done. One band or musical act.
Oh, man.
Just one.
Well, if I say the Wu-Tang Clan, that's like 120 dudes.
Right. Well, that's a brilliant choice. That gives you so much, but it's all the Wu-Tang. Yep.
Right.
Okay. One movie.
Ooh. Man. Well, I'm on a deserted island with the Wu-Tang Clan and pecan pie.
And pure magenta paint.
And pure magenta paint. Shoot, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I was a film minor in college.
Really?
So, yeah. So I love movies.
Man, the Wu-Tang Clan. I know at least 3 or 4 of those guys. Their favorite movie is Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay.
So,
I think if I'm on a deserted island with the Wu-Tang Clan, I guess I'd have to take like a 36 Chambers movie, right? Like an old kung fu flick.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, Game of Death would be good. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, one website.
Again, all of this, all of this is influenced, Paul, by the fact that I chose the Wu-Tang Clan to be on the island. So probably like YouPorn or something, maybe. I don't.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. One tool from your garage or basement or tool shed or whatever. You grab one tool. Shovel. Why a shovel?
Yeah. It's multi-purpose, I think. You dig with it.
Everybody takes the shovel. Yeah.
It's a weapon.
Multi-purpose. Yeah. Good choice. Awesome. Justin, appreciate you coming on the show. It's been fun.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime I can talk to another artist, it's you're a real top-notch artist. So I love
Thanks, man.
If you get a chance, check out Justin's work at justin3000.com. And this has been the Paul Pate Podcast. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, man.